Indian politics. We have with us today Professor Vivek Kumar. Vivek sir is a sociologist, public intellectual, and a well-known figure of social movement. He is the chairperson of Center for Study of Social Systems, School of Social Sciences, JNE. A recipient of Fulbright Teachers Fellowship, he has taught at Department of Sociology, Columbia University, US. He has been a visiting fellow in the Department of Asian and African Studies, Humboldt University, Berlin. His areas of interest include methodology of social sciences.
अरे यहाँ पर भी यहाँ पे तो यार नॉर्मल से आई एम जस्ट कमिंग टू टॉक टू यू पीपल बड़ा फॉर्मल इंट्रोडक्शन हो गया क्या चल ठीक है ठीक
So his areas of interest include methodology of social sciences, sociology of marginalized sections, dependent and independent direct political leadership, sociology of Indian diaspora, sociology of South Asia, social movements, globalization and social change. He has authored many books, including Caste and Democracy in India, India's Roaring Revolution, Dalit Assertions and New Origins, Dalit Leadership in India, Dynamics of Change and Continuity in the Era of Globalization, Voices from the Margins. He has also authored several articles and research papers. With this intro, I would also like to give a concept note of today's lecture. Politics in India has been evolving consistently. At this juncture of right-wing regime in power, it is imperative to review and decode the changing nature of Indian politics. India has witnessed movements in the past several decades, including the rise of Bahujan politics. However, the recent times also witnessed an increasing use of psephology as a tool for gaining political power in the electoral democracy. On this note, this special lecture stresses on the changing nature of Indian politics and the use of psephology in electoral democracy, among various other relevant nuances. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, I got the trick. Well, friends, I think it's a very new experience for me to speak before you all after a long time, because I think years together, of course, for COVID-19, there was no discussion or debate. But I think political parties was also very jittery in calling me to speak actually from their platform. So I first of all thank Babsa for calling me. They also maintained a very long distance from me to invite. I don't know why actually, but yeah, I should express this. So I think it's very bold of them that they have invited on their platform. But you know that now it's quite a quarter a century for me to be here on the campus. You know, this was of course the union office then also, but it was later on. Upstairs we all practiced drama and our actually, you know, lecdom that used to be, and that was sometimes given to us for organizing programs. So this experience, of course, is just like a rebirth for me to come again and speak, because we thought that we have lost the touch and there will not be any meetings where we can go and freely speak, because at every UDSF meeting from 2001 onwards, we were all part actually, but we are now part apart. I don't know. So actually the topic is very simple. I don't have to tell you any Greek and Latin. I think you all know it. But what I'll do, I just want to make a frame that where you can put your data and you can analyze. I think framework becomes very important when we talk about politics, because nowadays one of the very important ingredient of political mobilization is narrative. Somewhere or the other, a narrative is constructed. And that's where, you know, I always feel that narrative has never been part of Indian politics. You can start from the very beginning, the first elections, never actually such type of narratives as we can say that has become part of it. Yeah, there were slogans within the political party. And especially 1990s is the time when we start actually seeing that slogans start coming in the political organizations. And I still remember Ab ki bari Atal Bihari. And in Uttar Pradesh, when Sonia Gandhi went, गांव गांव में चली बयार सोनिया गांधी बहु हमार. Or there was actually a very hilarious slogan to lampoon Narayan Dutt Tiwari. Narna Nari Narayan Dutt Tiwari. And you know, these were created from within the political organizations. And they started in the hustings, meetings. That's the way. And then, of course, came Manavar Kashiram, who had his own, Vot Hamara, Raj Tumara, Nahi Chalega, Nahi Chalega. I think that was a very different narrative, I can call. हाँ यार ये तो बहुत जरूरी है ना. This is part and parcel of the meetings. Whenever the speaker comes, he should be served this tea. हाँ? पहले ही दे देते उसको चाय की ज़्यादा बोले नहीं. So we actually have a very different imagination altogether, because somebody was bringing an alternative politics. And in the university system, of course, there were a lot of ideological slogans. 1970s onwards, actually. And of course, the left political parties, SFI, AISF, they were having very rhyming slogans. Ho, ho, Ho Chi Minh, we shall fight, we shall win. Rajguru Sukhdev Bhagat Singh, we shall fight, we shall win. Now that's the way, up, up socialism, down, down communism. Oh, Lal Kile pe Lal Nishan mang raha hai Hindustan. I think there was very lot of rhyming. It looks that it is coming from within the educated masses elite. But then came, another organization, and they wanted to suppress all that which was there, the existing culture. Jala do, mita do. Bhuke ho ya nange ho, kandhe par banduke ho. That was the slogan which was brought in the students' politics. So I'm not going into that politics, but I'm talking about now how the narratives are being. And 2014 is the cutting point where I'm beginning with this narrative politics. And from a child actually these narratives went to them. Ab ki baar, dash, dash, dash. Or Modi hai, dash, dash, dash. Narratives are given to you by whom? Not by political parties, mind you. They are given by PR agencies. And therefore, when I talk about decoding the politics, I think we should also bring in the PR, role of PR agencies, which are not been looked at all. And it is so that, if you go by one name, Prashant Kishore, he was responsible for Modi's victory in Gujarat. He was helping Modi in Gujarat after 2002. And now, I was recently checking this Indian Express, which has brought out a list of 100 most powerful persons in India. And Prashant Kishore is at 91. Can you imagine? Prashant Kishore, a PR agency, he calls functionary, is 91st most powerful, and Mayawati is 95th, mind you. She is a national political leader or political president of a national political party, and he is only a PR agency person. And Kangana Ranaut is actually also just round about that. So you can imagine how the PR agencies has become a important agent for political mobilization. Now what they do, I'm just giving you one or two things so that you can go and do research. First thing they do, they give you or they do a research about your anti-incumbency. What are your anti-incumbencies in the area? At the national level, at the state level. And they not only research about your anti-incumbency, but they also research how to counter that incumbency. They give you counter narratives, how to counter that anti-incumbency. And it is not only the political organizations anti-incumbency they research. They do anti-incumbency research for each and every candidate. The candidates who are there, who are already actually in power, and those who are going to come also. And therefore you see how mass exchange of the existing leaders takes place. 50 MLAs name has changed. 40 MLAs name changed. Not only that, chief ministers are changed. Not one, two, three chief ministers are changed, and there is no role for the political party. How? When? Who took the decision? And why they are changed? Nobody knows, and this is not at all. So friends, I think if you really want to decode today's politics, I think one of the important agency to look is the PR agency. That is one. Second agency which has started actually playing dominant role are event managers. Event managers. And if you have seen the campaign trails of the political organizations, campaign trails are not the traditional hustings or the rallies which are organized deep in the villages or actually around the areas where people will throng on the buses. No, that is gone of the days actually, because people are not coming to the hustings. They are so frustrated that they don't want to come. Even you bring them with money, with all allurement, they are not coming to the hustings. So what is the way out? The way out is you start road shows. Road shows, and road shows are not organized on their own. It is not a natural process that I am going today and I will do a road show. No, they are properly planned by event managers. And that is why you have seen now different styles of buses, especially designed for road shows. Air-conditioned buses, and with a opening at the roof, and the roof becomes the platform, dais, from which you can go up and start actually your sermons or your now this speech, election speech, is on the roadside. And what is the benefit for the organizing the road shows? At least I can give you two. One, you can convert 50 into 500 and 500 into 5,000. And you can get, second is you can get maximum air time. You can get maximum air time from the starting point of the road show till you have finished the road show. Cameras will be on, because they are all now invited there for only covering your rally or road show, because it is basically a urban phenomena where the media centers or media cameras are very easily available. And they also want for their TRPs that they have to show. So those who have actually, those who have already political power, those who have already money, power, they can definitely organize the roadshow. The traditional political parties, they are still relying on the rallies. And rallies are not covered, mind you. At 11 o'clock, if you really watch very attentively, oh, there was a rally, or there can be one show, there can be one reporting, let us see. So at 11 o'clock, they will definitely be there for 5 or 6 minutes. But rest of the day, the whole road show will be there. So these two. Now the third agency, I think, should be marked. The opinion poll, the cephalogist, as actually, the organizers were talking about. I'm only talking about opinion polls. Opinion polls, one person who was organizing opinion poll became Rajya Sabha member. Now, what is the role of the opinion agencies? They run trackers. If you have really observed, they run trackers. From 6 months before the elections, they start running the trackers. Tracker 1, Tracker 2, Tracker 3. And you will see the gradual rise in the vote share of a political party. Gradual rise. But now, because opinion polls cannot be done before 1 month, so it stops there. But by the time, what they have done, mind you, don't mistake that they can really influence the ideological voters. The ideological voters are already decided. They don't influence them, or they cannot influence them. But friends, there is a population which is undecided, which is in the gray area. They try to influence the undecided voters. And mind you, in Uttar Pradesh, this undecided voter is 8%. It has been taken out to be 8%. And they create a swing. They create swing. And as somebody says that, nobody would like to vote for losing party. Nobody would like. Because everybody votes to actually boast, I voted, that's why they won. There is a psychology behind the losers also and the winners. So everybody would like. जब तुम लोग इलेक्शन जीत जाते हो तो जीते हुए के पीछे पीठ लंबी हो जाती है. हारा हुआ वहां गाता हम होंगे कामयाब, हम होंगे कामयाब. So this psychology is basically tapped through the agencies which are, bringing out opinion polls. Now the catch also lies, friends. Catch also lies, and nobody has written on that. I also wrote, but it did not get printed. What is the formula of conversion of percentage of vote into seats? Which software is there where you can convert percentage of votes polled by a political party into votes or into seats? I have not got, actually. I've done a lot of research. I've gone actually US, saw their, electioneering. Nowhere in the world the agencies give you number of seats won by a political party. Nowhere. They will only give you the vote polled by, or percentage of the vote polled by a political party. It is only in India that a political party is winning 43% of vote and gets 225 seats. This is only here. But you can see that what has happened with Bahujan Samaj Party. Bahujan Samaj Party has polled 1 crore and 80 lakhs 18 lakhs vote. 1 crore and 18 lakh votes. In this election, you can go and check. 1 crore and 18 lakhs vote. And how many seats? How can you convert actually? That's the problem with that. A political party's vote may be scattered all over the state. And some political party has a concentrated votes. Just like, we have so many political parties. Whether Suhail Rajbhar party, Suhail Dev Rajbhar party, or Nishad party, or other smaller parties. How they have won so many seats? Because their votes were concentrated in a particular constituency, and some political parties actually their votes are scattered all over the state. So how can you convert percentage of votes polled in a election into seats? There is no formula. You must have seen when actually Joe Biden's and actually this votes were taking place. Percentage, they were giving percentage. This will have this percent and this will have this percent. Nowhere seats. But it is only in India. And being there in television for many decades rather, I used to go and sit for their analysis. अबे यार 323 कर दो यार. अरे नहीं 323 ज़्यादा हो जाएगा यार. 320 करो भाई. अरे 2320 में क्या अंतर? There is no formula. But it is done deliberately. How and why? I think that's where decoding should be. Let's actually see. But nobody, even after the exit poll agencies have come, exit poll. There is opinion poll agency which will give you opinions, but there is exit poll and there is CSDS who does post poll survey. Exit poll is actually just after the voter comes out of the polling station. That will be called as exit. Post poll is actually I have voted and one fine morning somebody comes and tell me when did you vote, how did you vote, after one day or after maybe a day you will come. So a poll survey. Now there is no sanctity. There is all knows methodology, or those who have actually my victims in my class, they know methodology a little bit. How can you really convert or check whether he is speaking true or he is speaking false, whether the sample is representative or whether sample representation of the sample is regional, caste-wise or gender-wise or age-wise? There is no segregation. But we are all working. And CSDS rules the roost. It becomes a gospel that whatever they have done is fantastic. Nothing doing. So my humble submission, friend, is that we have to really decode that how this percentage of poll garnered by a political party are converted into seats. That is one. And two, whether the opinion poll agencies really influence the floating votes. Floating votes are very important. This actually has not been taken care of. Now, let me come to the fourth very important agency which is now playing a part and which is called as corporate media. I don't call it as Godi media. I only call it as Manuwadi media. Somebody comes and starts, it's Godi media. What is Godi media? Why simple say that? Why actually they have never sat in a proletariat political party, or why they have never sat in the lap of a left or progressive political party? Why they only sit in only one Godi? Why you are calling Godi? I call it Manuwadi, and I still stand by Manuwadi because I know who are the functionaries there. Now these people, what are they actually up to, and how they are contributing, and how they are augmenting all the three agencies which I have quoted, and how they take up the issue. Now as far as actually these agencies are, they have a lot of access to data. They have, access to data. Bit by bit, all comes to them on the day of election itself. But have you ever seen the analysis of the votes polled by every political party? They will give you percentages. They will give you percentages of the, but they will never give the number of votes polled by a political party. Why? And then there is a narrative which is documented that, look, this much of vote has shifted from one political party to the other political party. I don't know what is the psephology, what is the methodology, I don't know. But I had at least this much of acumen to recheck how this whole narrative is a biased narrative, how this construction of a narrative is really biased towards one political party, or how they want to deconstruct the existential determination of a political party. How they do that? I think that's the very insightful analysis which I was taking. I have this data, small data, which I was, looking at from two elections. And because I specialize on UP, I am taking UP elections as my data, because I know in JNU, people have never done field work. They have never visited UP, but they write big articles. And Hindu publishes them also. Not only Hindu, Express also publishes them. And you will not see, they have never even seen Lucknow. And not only that, I can vouch you, please, you can say it's loud mouth. There are professors who have written book and have never visited for a field work in Uttar Pradesh. They have written book length volume. And that's why they committed a mistake writing, did not even write correct abbreviation of BAMSEF. If you want, you can go and check even today in your central library, or if you want, you can come and see in my library. I will show you the book that has a wrong abbreviation of even BAMSEF. And they have written also one volume. I will definitely, because he's a journalist, I can take the name. I was actually maintaining my fraternity, not naming the earlier person. Ajay Bose. Have you read that Bahanji stuff? Please do read. He is calling Meera Kumar granddaughter of Jagjeevan Ram. Everybody knows Meera Kumar was daughter of Jagjeevan Ram, not granddaughter. And one data he gives is hilarious. In one day in Uttar Pradesh, Mayawati had erected 180 statues. This is the data which he gives. You please check it. If you want, you can definitely. So what I'm trying to argue, that this research work in electioneering is so shabby. Therefore, I think as social scientists, as sociologists, or political scientists, I think we should be looking data a little bit more carefully. Now, this data, which I wanted to actually give to you, this is just that how all the agencies have tried to create a narrative. And this narrative has been that Bahujan Samaj Party's vote has got transferred to BJP. I think you might have all heard, isn't it? So I started checking, okay, how much votes BJP has gained in this election. And if you go and compare 2017 and 2022, BJP has gained only 36 lakhs of vote in this election. 36 lakhs. But SP, how much SP has gained? SP has gained 1 crore and 28 lakhs of vote. And I'm giving you the data from Election Commission. This is not my data. SP gained 1 crore and 28 lakhs of vote. And his partner that is RLD, gained 10 lakhs of vote. So that means SP and RLD gained 1 crore and 36 lakhs of vote. Now, how much BSP lost? BSP lost 74 crores of vote. BSP in this election lost 74 crores of vote. 74 lakhs of votes. Now, 74 lakhs of vote, even if I have a hypothesis that all 74 lakhs of vote have gone to BJP, how will BJP adjust, 38 lakhs of vote? How? I don't know. But nobody is silent. But what was silent that? Silence was not how much vote Congress lost. Congress lost 32 lakhs of vote. Now, anybody who is a UPite or who understands UP politics, you can very well understand who were the voters of the Congress. Congress had a very sumptuous, from Govind Ballabh Pant to Narayan Dutt Tiwari to Kamlapati Tripathi to Sripati Mishra, Bahuguna. Who are all these? If you want to understand the identity and why RSS is not believing Brahmins in Uttar Pradesh. Very important, I think, aspect that why BJP doesn't believe Brahmins. And you will not find even a single leader, except for Kalraj Mishra. At least for 30 years I have not seen a very giant Brahmin leader in BJP. So the Congress 32 lakhs vote, I'm saying, might have in toto gone to BJP. There were 1 lakh vote of Shiv Sena, because Shiv Sena did not contest. I can vouch. Where will they go? You can understand that. And then there were Nota which also got tipped. So my whole analysis was that how Congress, how Shiv Sena, how Nota all shifted towards BJP. Now you can say, sir, this is actually your construction, but I'm giving you even empirical data. In Ambedkar Nagar is a constituency where BSP had a sitting MP, and there were 2 MLAs from BSP. But this election in 22, SP won all the 6 seats in Ambedkar Nagar. How? If the BSP vote would have transferred to BJP, SP wouldn't have won the elections. Because Muslims are also not there in Ambedkar Nagar. How did actually SP won in Azamgarh, Gazipur and even Jaunpur? 8 out of 8 seats, 6 seats. So my empirical analysis suggests that these votes got transferred to SP. But the narrative is being actually carved out that, look, these votes have gone to BJP. And nobody is talking about Congress. How did Congress lost? And this narrative was not there in West Bengal when actually CPI, CPIM, all those people lost and they did not win any seat. Nobody said that left vote might have gone to BJP. Why? Why didn't they say this actually whole counter narrative came? Now, therefore, friends, I am trying to argue that there is really great construction of narratives which we have to understand. And I am coming to that narrative, that what narratives were suppressed and they were not brought out. And then to suppress those narratives, these agencies were there. But another narrative was constructed. I will come to that later. Now, the narrative which I am going to talk about, that they did not flare up, at least I can say 10 symbolic communal communal symbols, they were highlighted and used in the elections of Uttar Pradesh. 10. And I call this process as normalization of communalism. How normalization of communalism started? You declare a saffron-clad person that he will be the leader. Now, what is the symbolism here? You draw a line. As soon as you put that, you draw a line, a straight line, that look who is going to be our leader. But nobody discusses that. It is very, nominal. And out of 400 seats, not even one represented from the minority community. What is the line you are trying to draw? And you draw the line that this election is 80-20. This is the third symbol. 80-20 directly you declare. And then Jinnah, then Kairana. You begin your campaign from Kairana, and Home Minister comes to Kairana also. Not only that, you have bulldozers, and bulldozers were used for a particular. Dubey, bulldozer was also used for Dubey, but highlighting the use of bulldozer for certain section. And then, of course, the love jihad, and then Mathura. Abhi to ye jhaki hai, Mathura Kashi baki hai. Now, all these symbols, I can go on, I have a long list. It's not that actually, one political party. What about SP? I will make the biggest statue of Parashuram, the tallest, and BSP was saying that I will declare holiday on Parashuram's Jayanti. Now, this is all normal of mobilization. Nobody is discussing and nobody is debating that these were certain elements of mobilization. Not only communal, but caste. How caste mobilization took place? If you remember, I just told you about Ajay Mishra. Everybody knows Ajay Mishra, Teni. I told you that before Kalraj Mishra and after Kalraj Mishra, have you heard any member from the Brahmin community being made central minister from BJP? Never. And he was. Why? Because there was a feud going on in Uttar Pradesh between the two communities, Kshatriyas and Brahmins. And it was being highlighted everywhere, but not in the media. Media was silent on this, that no. And we all know that how Mr. Bisht was actually projected as the leader of a particular community, because he comes from a shrine which has a history of 100 years or more. The Nath Panth, if you have actually a little bit of, and Nath Panthis were basically very, very secular identity, because Nath Panthis accepted Sufis as their chelas, and Sufis also accepted them as their gurus. Such was the history. But that history is mitigated, and we have a particular shrine which represents a particular. Not only that, friends, we are having Jatin Prasad to be inducted as if that he is a Chakravarti Samrat of the Brahmins, and he will bring all the, from Ghaziabad to Ghazipur, he is the leader. He was projected. And before few days, what was he saying? So, caste mobilization begins with that. Then Anupriya Patel as a Kurmi leader was there already, though she got bifurcated her family only because of this mobilization. Then Nishad Party. Nishad Party was promised that they will be given scheduled caste status. Keshav Prasad Maurya was already there, so Maurya was also there. But they did not stop there. What about scheduled caste mobilization? If you remember Kaushal Kishore, Kaushal Kishore belongs to Pasi community, which is the second largest Dalit community in Uttar Pradesh. And he was made leader. You know, he belonged to CPI. Kaushal Kishore was from CPI. Left CPI, formed his own political party and joined BJP. He was made a MP and then minister. Then his wife was given ticket. His also brother-in-law was given ticket. And they all fought in Pasi belt. So that was the another mobilization. Now, have you ever heard that a governor resigns? A governor of a state resigns and starts contesting Vidhan Sabha election. Vidhan Sabha. Baby Rani Maurya, a Jatav from Western Uttar Pradesh, was forced to resign from Uttarakhand and came in contest. So I have a long list, but I am giving you these 10 types of mobilization on the religious symbols and 10 on the caste line. But have you really heard about these narratives or these types of mobilization being discussed on the mainstream corporate media? At least as a sociologist, I was trying, oh, this is what is happening. I never heard. And worst was that Mamata Banerjee comes from West Bengal representing secular image. She tested state elections with BJP, but she is secular. And she comes and canvasses for Akhilesh. Everybody accepts. But what happened in Punjab? Channi was very educated. He was an educated Dalit. But whether he was accepted by the Jats of Punjab, I'm sorry. Jats, because I was interviewing many of them, one statement speaks the volume how casteist mind work. They said that there is only one state which we have in India. Jats told directly that we have only one state. And if we lose that also, what will be there for us in India? So we will not vote for Channi, any cost. Congress has committed a mistake. So why you did not vote for Badals? They have also aligned with Dalit political party. Now this is the statement which reveals that, look, there are undercurrents which cannot be decoded by, eyes like that. You have to really go inside, in depth. And therefore, friends, I think there is a need for social scientists to take electioneering more seriously. Don't listen that Arnab Goswami or Ravish Kumar will explain everything. Problem is this today, if you criticize BJP loudly, you will 7,000 से ज़्यादा नहीं देखता है. मैं बता रहा हूं आपको. अगर आप वहां बोल दीजिए तो आप देखेंगे अंजुम का, have you seen अंजुम YouTube or satyhindi.com? They have all fallen flat. Had they been so objective, then there would have been different things. So therefore, friends, I think there is a need. I think what my suggestion, because usually as sociologists we don't give because it's a public debate, what I'm trying to suggest is that I was part of 1992 agitation which was going in Jhelum lawns at that time, that why did Kalyan Singh gave permission for car seva? We were sitting on fast on that day, the whole day fast. And at 4 o'clock, we heard, at that time there was no this television or thing. So BBC, somebody heard that it has been raised down. And we started taking a march out. After 1992, there was a lot of rage, lot of actually, mobilization, as if that, look, the alternative forces, the progressive forces, they all have come together. But what was the outcome of that mobilization? Have you found any organization being sustained? Anywhere. There are actually organizations, somewhere here or somewhere there, somewhere, but very small pockets. But have you seen a huge organization which can really take mental with the existing dispensation? No. Then in 2002, everyone came. After 10 years, 2002, everyone came together. Oh, now there will be progressive mobilization. But after that, what happened? So my whole submission is that you take your own actually, campus. AISF, SFI, there were two forces left. There was no right at that time. Now within actually left forces, AISF, SFI, then there was in between actually DSU, and then there was also PSU, then there was now actually ISA. You see the left forces, how they have actually dwindled away and they have got fragmented. Proletariat forces, I will say. But have you found any other political organization here with a right wing leaning? Why? Why cannot there be a parallel organization which can grow their own programs and policies? Why there is bifurcation every 10 years, every 5 years, every 25 years? Why? Because you and we are involved in only reactionary politics. जो गाली बकेगा हम उसके लिए ताली बजा देंगे बस. दुश्मन से लड़ने के लिए, प्रतिद्वंदी से लड़ने के लिए, whether we have really created that type of organization, I don't think so. And therefore, if you have in our organization, अगर किसी लाइन को छोटा करना है तो उसको मिटाना नहीं है, उसके सामने बड़ी लाइन खींचना है, दूसरी लाइन खुद ब खुद छोटी हो जाएगी. People are involved in rubbing the line that it will become smaller. I don't think so. There has to be a positive agenda. There has to be positive categorization, ideology to mobilize your own wing. Otherwise, what will happen? It will be only reactionary agenda. You will keep on reacting. Some people will be setting the agenda, you will be reacting. So I think the best politics is that where you set your agenda, others react. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the wonderful insights into how the PR agencies works and how event managers works and how the opinion polls are working, and you have also delved into the nature of conversion of votes into seats, and you have focused on the idea of how the narratives are constructed and the different elements of mobilization and all, and how we set agendas. So with this, I would also open this floor for the Q&A. Yeah, we can have Q&A. Please,
yeah, don't shoot me, huh? Yeah. Huh?
My question is that in our constitution, is there anything that we can make our electionary professional who can turn from this seat counting to this percentage?
Yeah, you were saying something, yeah.
will explain about the role of PR agencies in contemporary elections. Even I was very surprised with the results of UP, particularly what happened to BSP. But my question is that the sole reason for the loss of BSP? Role or should we not reflect back a few years back or last decade maybe, when Ashiramji was there, how it was possible for him to mobilize masses at such a...
Which year? At least specify which year Kashiram was there and then he was mobilizing. Can you tell me? Don't again bring a narrative.
1990s,
19?
1990s, late 1990s.
अरे तब तो पार्टी कुछ भी नहीं थी यार. 1996 में तो पार्टी आना शुरू हुई. 95 में पहली बार सरकार बनाई और वही 65 सीट जीती थी. 2007 में तो मान्यवर थे भी नहीं. And BSP was in full power on its own. So your basic premise is actually not rhyming, basically.
Always. Thank you.
Yeah. But I think you have a question that was the only cause, basically, of BSP's loss. That is the question. I think I take it. Yeah. Yes. So let me answer this actually. Well, I begin from you that look, as sociologists, we all actually, are trained to say that according to Max Weber, there is no monocausality. There is always multiple causes for an event. And I have given you so many causes, starting from PR agency to event managers, to communal mobilization, to caste mobilization. So I'm not saying that only there is one. There are actually so many causes. But I am the votary of Rahim, because I always feel that politics is the subsystem of society. It is not absolute system on its own. So your politics is carved out the way the society exists within that. And that is why I quote Rahim. Kay Rahim kaise nibhe ker ber ke sang. Kay Rahim kaise nibhe ker ber ke sang. वो तो झूमत आपनो फाटत उसके अंग. Now, केले का पेड़, banana tree and a plum tree, how can they go together, yaar? So you can understand my metaphor for whom I am using the plum tree and for whom I am using banana tree. You cannot carve out, you cannot compete. And I think when you say that Manavar Kashiram was doing very well, of course he did. But I think Mayawati took it to a different height when she formed the government on her own in 2007. So I think let's give the credit to that woman also. Why there is to be so biasness against that woman, I don't know. I think she did wonderful work. But of course, competing with such a machine, I think you need all these paraphernalias. That's what my argument. As far as Constitution is, Baba Sahib Ambedkar long ago said that, look, a constitution is representative of the collective wisdom of the population of that time. And if you really want to change the constitution, I have laid down the most lenient condition for the amendment. Only 50%. So if people have, they can change it. If they want to change, instead of first past poll, they can bring in proportional representation any day they want. But why will they? It is suiting their end now.
We all know that what is going on, what the media is propagating, and what is the thing right now. The thing is that what will be the solution? How can we solve or at least how can we rectify all those things? What will our step towards that? Like we all are discussing this is a major issue, but what will be the solution?
Outcome, yeah.
How to overcome this?
Yeah.
सर मेरा सवाल है जो सोशल जस्टिस की पार्टी है बसपा हो या यूपी में सपा हो या और भी जो सोशल जस्टिस और आइडेंटिटी पॉलिटिक्स की बातें करती है जो चेंजेस की, सर इनमें इनके इलेक्टोरल डिफीट में इंटरनल डेमोक्रेसी इनके में जो नहीं है उसका क्या रोल है? जो इनके अंदर जो फैक्शन भी बन रहे हैं और लोगों को निगोशिएट नहीं कर पा रहे, इसमें इंटरनल डेमोक्रेसी नहीं होने का क्या रोल है और नहीं है सर?
Well, I think, what Akanksha is asking, the solution. Had there been solution, I would not have been teaching here. I would have been PK. I would have been PK and PK was called. But one thing is for sure, I'm telling you, I think that there has to be a long-term solution and a short-term solution. And one of the important solution is that how you organize your own independent agenda. For 70 years, we have seen that how independent agenda has been actually captive of certain political parties and how they have oscillated between this side or that side. It's not that Malyana did not happen. It is not that Meerut did not happen. Samastipur did not happen. It was happening there. It's not that Shabano was not open. I think and still actually they are moving from temple to temple. So I think actually you have to have your own platform where you can organize on your own way, not in the reaction. In India actually when we were growing, we were told there were 64 schools of philosophy. Ekvad, Anekvad, Upekshvad. Where are those? Why can't there be those political organizations which are coming, they are having their own agenda? So I think independent assignment actually is difficult for them to bring together. Somebody is contesting in West Bengal is actually, helping somebody in Maharashtra. That's not going to happen. Now the second thing is that, internal democracy, again you are bringing the same thing that तुमने हिंदी में पूछा तो हिंदी में ही बता दें। भैया ये बताओ कि भारतवर्ष में डेमोक्रेसी कितने साल पुरानी है? भारतवर्ष में अगर ये कहा जाए तो संविधान, डेमोक्रेटिक संविधान जरूर आया 70 साल 72 साल पहले, लेकिन उसके साथ डेमोक्रेसी आ गई हो, मुझे नहीं लगता है। इसलिए समाज के अंदर जब हम संगठन बना रहे हैं तो वो अगर डेमोक्रेसी पर चलेगा तो ये क्वेश्चन केवल सामाजिक न्याय की ताकतों से क्यों पूछा जाए? वो तो उनसे पूछा जाए जो 4 मुख्यमंत्री बदल देते हो, इंटरनल डेमोक्रेसी की बात तक नहीं आती। 4 मुख्यमंत्री एक स्टेट में और 3 मुख्यमंत्री दूसरे स्टेट में, और सबसे क्या कहना चाहिए, वृद्ध व्यक्तियों को बैठा देते हैं क्या कौन से मंडल, मार्गदर्शक मंडल में, और कोई इंटरनल डेमोक्रेसी की बात नहीं होती। तो भैया वो कहते हैं जिसे कहना चाहिए जबरा मारे और रोए न दे, है ना। तो मुझे लगता है कि यहां पर जो जबर होता है उसके लिए सब कुछ, समर्थ को नहीं दोष गुसाएं। तो आई थिंक ये जो जितना फॉली है, जितना भी आप बातें ला सकते हैं, आई थिंक यू कैन ब्रिंग इन just because they are proletariat parties and they can be questioned, but not the powerful. So इसलिए I think the way proletariat parties are surviving, they can survive only with this design. अभी हमने देखा कि 2 बच्चे चले गए लंदन पढ़ने के लिए, अरे वहां से ऐसा ज्ञान दे रहे हैं कि हम लोगों को बता रहे हैं वी आर इमोशनल फूल्स, वी आर इमोशनल फूल्स। Why? Because there is no character within the individual itself, and therefore if you give them democracy, are they going to really digest that democracy? मैंने अभी ये जो रहीम का दोहा पढ़ा ना, आप डेमोक्रेसी में आप ही के अंदर दर करवा करके खत्म कर देंगे, आपको आप ही के आदमी से आपको मरवाएंगे। और ये हो रहा है, देख रहे ना कि यूं करके आता है एक आदमी कि मैं तो अभी वो बढ़ दूंगा, 2 सीट नहीं मिली। तो इसलिए आई थिंक एक्चुअली डेमोक्रेसी इज ए वेरी वेरी रिलेटिव टर्म एंड इट विल ओनली बी, सापेक्षता के आधार पर होगा। आपका अगर समाज ही नहीं है डेमोक्रेटिक, तो आप पॉलिटिकल की पार्टी के अंदर कैसे डेमोक्रेसी लाए? अभी देखिए हटा दिया गया एक आदमी, वो आता था यहाँ पर, बुलाया था आप लोगों ने ना, वामन मेश्राम, हटा दिया गया वो। उसके पहले जितने भी आए सब हटा दिए गए। और आपने देखा डेमोक्रेसी वहां थी महाराष्ट्र में। आज दलित पैंथर्स के 42 धड़े हैं, 42, और आरपीआई के तो पता नहीं कितने होंगे। तो मुझे लगता है कि आई थिंक वी हैव टू टेक दैट दिस नैरेटिव इज कमिंग फ्रॉम ए वेरी बुर्जुआ पार्टी और बुर्जुआ थॉट दैट हाउ दिस पीपल, अरे गुर्बत के मारे, जहालत के मारे अंदर जिसे कहना चाहिए बैठे लोग, जिनको पाउच पर लोग खरीद लेते हैं, आप उनको अभी बताएंगे कि नहीं अभी सब कुछ उसी तरह डोवटेल हो जाना चाहिए जो कि हमारी किताबों में लिखा हुआ। आई डोंट थिंक दैट इज गोइंग टू हैपन एंड आई एम नॉट वोटरी ऑफ दैट।
Sir, you talk about narrative, like you also talk how like this BJP narrative or Hindu nationalist narrative, the BJP or Hindu nationalist narrative is like eaten up all other narratives. No, there is no alternative narrative. So like what is the reason? Do you think? Like, do you think like there is no alternative because all other forces are same? Like for example, like Congress, SP, even to some extent PSP, like their philosophical foundation, like their core, like they believe in the same kind of things. Like suppose I have done my MPhil in Nehru and Savarkar. So another day, like I found ultimately they are saying the same things, not much different. So ultimately if they are same, how can there be alternative narrative? No, there cannot be because ultimately they are all same. So
no, I think actually what my friend at the back he was talking about, that how did Kashiram ji started. I think we can have that narrative, but we should not follow the same path which is being followed by, you know, अभी तो IT cell के बारे में तो मैंने बताया ही नहीं. You know, BJP has 36 crores access to WhatsApp. 36 crores. And we say that नहीं भाई BSP का भी IT cell होना चाहिए. If you really go and start following the same path, you will be never successful. People are mobilizing on algorithms. When they speak hello, your voice, whether your breath is, you know, started actually making noise, they know that, oh, he is not our voter, and they will cut your vote. Such vast way of mobilization. I think we have to think of, because India is overall, I am telling you, whether it was Kabir, whether it was Ashoka, whether it was Akbar, they all could win when they moderated their voice. And I can see that there will be Congressization of BJP also, and that had started from Karnataka. All the Congress people went there. In Maharashtra, in what happened in actually, you know, Madhya Pradesh, it is the Congress people who should be responsible for making that organization or that mobilization. So I think, you know, there will be definitely a mobilization which can be on our own and independent views and media style, not on the actually the other side. If you start following their way, that means you will be only reacting. They have set the agenda and you accept that, look, they are powerful. I think that will not going to serve the purpose. You have to make your own way.
सर बेसिकली जैसे कि जैसे आप बोले अभी कि हम जैसे कि ये हुआ कोई नैरेटिव क्रिएट कर रहा है तो हम ऐसा नहीं कर सकते तो हम सक्सेसफुल नहीं होता. तो एज ए सोशियोलॉजिस्ट तो बेसिकली हम देख रहे हैं जैसे कि बीजेपी अगर इंडिया में पूरे इंडिया में मतलब कहीं ना कहीं ज़्यादा वो कर रहे हैं. मैं देखता हूँ गाँव हर घर में मतलब RSS एंट्री कर चुका है. छोटे छोटे बच्चों के दिमाग में चीज डाली है. मतलब मैं जो देख पा रहा हूँ सोसाइटी में स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस आ रहे हैं
No, that is what I am saying, Sanjeev, that you have to study it. Why actually some organizations are getting acceptability from the masses, the suffering masses. Whether it was COVID, people were suffering. Whether it was Notebandi, people were suffering. Whether it was actually price rise, people were suffering. Whether it was unemployment, people were suffering. Whether it was door dangar problem, there people were suffering. 700 people died in the corner of farmers' agitation. People were suffering. But even then, how? How that counter narrative is being constructed? Nobody is bringing that. Nobody, nowhere, no analysis that how did the counter narratives for all these sufferings of the people was made. I as an individual, I cannot do that, but I can definitely see that I am not finding any counter narrative to these hard pressing problems of the people. Everybody was saying, अरे यार 200 रुपए कड़वा तेल हो गया.
सर जैसे कि
अब काउंटर क्वेश्चन मत पूछो.
सर काउंटर क्वेश्चन
हाँ.
मतलब इसी से रिलेटेड है सर. जैसे कि हम लोग शुरू से जैसे कि दर्शाएं बताते हैं कि रिलीजन का ऐसे हुआ था. अब मार्क्स के बारे में इतना लोग पढ़ते आने वाला समय में ऐसा हो कि इसको बहुत प्रमोट हो जाए.
नहीं, अरे भाई मैं कह रहा हूँ कि सुनो, रिलीजन की बात कौन नहीं कर रहा था. प्रबुद्ध बुद्ध सम्मेलन बहुजन समाज पार्टी करा रही थी और ब्राह्मण सम्मेलन कहा जा रहा था उसको, और वो कह रहे थे कि मंदिरों से ब्राह्मणों को हटाया जा रहा है इसलिए हमें आप वोट दीजिए. तो वो भी कर रहे थे. वो कह रहे थे परशुराम की सबसे बड़ी मूर्ति लगाएंगे हम. तो वो धर्म नहीं था क्या? हाँ.
बेसिकली जो स्ट्रक्चर में जब एंट्री घुसी जा रहा है चीजें, फिर उसको बाद में मतलब अभी अगर हम ऐसा नहीं करेंगे तो आपके अनुसार इसको रोकने का कोई तो आइडिया आपके अनुसार होना चाहिए, या फिर कैसे इस चीज को?
नहीं यार, तुम समझ नहीं रहे हो. फिर मैं वही समझा. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा. आप ये सोचेंगे कि वो कर रहा है इसलिए मुझे करना है, तब नहीं होगा कुछ. आप अपने बारे में क्या सोच रहे हैं? आप अपने बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? आपकी राजनीति के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं? अभी आपने बताया सोशल जस्टिस. कहाँ था सोशल जस्टिस? एक लाइन किसी ने सोशल जस्टिस के बारे में बोला, बताओ. पूरे कैंपेन में सोशल जस्टिस कहाँ था? तो कहाँ चली गई सोशल जस्टिस की फोर्सेस? क्यों नहीं बात कर रही हैं सोशल जस्टिस की? आप केवल एक एजेंडे को लेकर के केवल आप रिएक्शन करते रहेंगे और सोचेंगे कि मोबिलाइजेशन हो जाएगा. आई डोंट थिंक सो. यू लीव द होल पॉपुलेशन. ऐसा नहीं होगा. आई थिंक यू हैव टू ब्रिंग ऑल द पॉपुलेशन टुगेदर.
Yeah, we'll take 2 more questions before concluding the session.
ऐसा ना करो यार, जेएनयू की रवायत मत तोड़ो. ये जब तक थक ना जाए तब तक पूछते रहो. आवाज नहीं आ रही.
We are talking about Indian politics. It would not be wrong to say that JNU has always been the replica of this. So my question is, can Bapsa win election in this campus? And if you think yes, then
Bapsa
can win election in this campus.
can win the election in this.
And if you think yes, then what are the strategies which
यार देखो, पता है क्या है कि हम लोग के यहाँ ये पढ़ाया जाता है, कभी आप बात करेंगे कि राजनीति बताई जाती है, रणनीति नहीं बताई जाती है. तो स्ट्रेटजी के लिए कभी और. लेकिन हाँ, आई थिंक you have a challenge, because what I see that if Channi cannot be accepted as centrist force, if Mayawati cannot be accepted as a centrist force, I don't think Bapsa can also be accepted as a centrist force. So you will have to look the agenda somewhere, or there may be, if suppose there is a lot of crisis, because I feel in 2007 Mayawati did not win because of the positive vote. It was a real crisis in Uttar Pradesh. People were suffering from the misgovernance of SP, and that is why they themselves gave a slogan, चढ़ गुंडन की छाती पर मोहर लगेगी हाथी पर. And they really proved that. Otherwise, had it been on the basis of governance, good governance, votes are being polled on good governance, effective governance, social justice, I think people would have preferred Mayawati because they were suffering. All round suffering was there. So that means there is something where the politics, and I don't agree with identity, I call it as entity. अस्तित्व और अस्मिता दो अलग अलग बातें होती है. यहां तो अस्तित्व की लड़ाई है भाई. आप हमको आदमी नहीं समझते, जानवर से भी बदतर समझते हैं. पानी छूने से जो है आपका जल खराब हो जाता है, तो हमारे तो अस्तित्व की बात है, अस्मिता तो बाद में आएगी. एंड दिस एंटिटी पॉलिटिक्स is, I hold, a very positive politics, because we are trying to ask the rights enshrined in the constitution. We are not trying to usurp the right of the others. इसको लोग casteism बोल देते हैं. When these entity people try to mobilize, they are called as castes. I asked them, Bacha, what is the definition of casteism? Then there is no definition of casteism. Is that if you really, on the basis of your existence, you start mobilizing the population because they are suffering and they have a political right, they are called as castes. No, sir. I call this as caste assertion. Casteism is a process by which the upper strata, the powerful, when they try to exclude the erstwhile excluded communities from the institutions of production, governance, that is casteism. You don't allow people to be treated as equal. That is casteism. Now, when the excluded communities, they try to mobilize on the basis of their pain, agony, suffering, exclusion, suppression, they are being termed as casteist. No, that is positive term, that is called assertion. I call it assertion as a positive, a neutral term. I will not call it even a positive. I call it as a neutral term. Because I am trying to assert my rights which have been enshrined to me in the Constitution. I am not taking this or that or here or that power. No, it is my legitimate right which has been given to me by the Constitution. So how can I be called a casteist? But that's where I think this entity politics has to be at the center stage. Otherwise, the political democracy and the constitutional democracy, there will be a gap. Political democracy, fine, one vote, one value, one. But there are constitutional values which have been enshrined in the preamble only. I'm not going other articles. The social justice, equality, liberty, fraternity. And I'm still talking about fraternity. I give more prominence to fraternity than liberty and equality. Because fraternity, you don't need a law. It will emerge from your within. You can need a law for equality. You can need a law for liberty, but not for fraternity. आप बगल में बैठेंगे कोई रोक लेगा क्या? हम खाना खाएंगे तो कोई रोक लेगा क्या? शादी करेंगे कोई रोक लेगा क्या? लेकिन वो नहीं हो पा रहा है. So I think there is a need to have constitutional democracy with morality and fraternity. I think then we can really evolve that. We have another question. Yes, yes.
सोशल मीडिया भी एक ऐसा एजेंसी जो हम स्ट्रॉन्गली नैरेटिव क्रिएट करता है. फॉर इंस्टेंस कि किसी ने अगर कोई हेटेड कमेंट दे दिया, फिर किसी कम्युनिटी में कुछ बोल दिया, तो उसको सिटिंग गवर्नमेंट की कोई भी फॉलो कर देते हैं. तो डोंट यू थिंक कि सोशल मीडिया बहुत स्ट्रॉन्गली इन्फ्लुएंस करती है?
बिल्कुल. I think, yeah, you are very, very correct, because now with social media we have accessibility. Very easy accessibility, and it is not in only drawing room, it has reached to our bathrooms, because you enjoy there actually sitting and keep on. And if you are not, the problem is that if you are not on WhatsApp, you will be declared as backward. What is this? He is technically, अरे मैंने सुना यार, मुझे लोग कहते थे, I was not on WhatsApp for many years. Still I'm not, but people say that. So what I'm trying to argue is that the narratives has been really ingrained, and they have reached not only our drawing rooms but have gone to bathrooms, and therefore we have to be careful. And I want actually to warn the social justice forces that they think that they can compete with the bourgeois forces with the media. You have to create your own traditional media, somewhere traditional media. वो जो था ना चपाती वाला जमाना, उसमें चपाती में लिख के जाता था आज़ाद जंगे आज़ादी में. I think somewhere down the line you have to create an alternative media which is easy, trustworthy, and which can be definitely. वो मान्यवर कहा करते थे हमारे पास भैया कार नहीं है, 2 पैर हैं, and that's why he ran a movement called miraculous 2 feet and 2 wheels. So can we really do that?
एक है यहाँ से फिर उसके बाद
ये सब क्वेश्चंस ये है कि आजकल जैसे आप बोले थे कि पीआर एजेंसी और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक का रोल बढ़ता जा रहा है हमारे स्पेशली इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पॉलिटिक्स के अंदर, तो ये क्या हो रहा है धीरे धीरे ये तो टेम्पररी बेसिस पे अप्लाई किया जाता है, लेकिन अब ये परमानेंट नहीं होगा. जैसे बीजेपी का अपना IT सेल है, टीएमसी के साथ प्रसाद किशोर 6 साल के साथ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट हुआ है, तो ये टेम्पररी एज वेल एज परमानेंटली किया जा रहा है. तो ये जो है किस तरह से हमारे पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के नेचर को चेंज.
ये एक्चुअली बहुत सिंपल. देखिए पॉलिटिकल पार्टी क्या होता था, कार्यकर्ताओं पर निर्भर करते थे. कार्यकर्ता सम्मेलन होते थे, कार्यकर्ता सम्मेलन में प्रतिनिधि सम्मेलन होते थे. वो सम्मेलन कहीं आपने देखे हो तो बताइए मुझे किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी. कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है किसी की. अच्छा, कार्यकर्ता ही बताते थे कि सर ये बहुत अच्छा आदमी, वो अच्छा आदमी है, उसकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. आपने वीडियो अपलोड किया, पार्टी ऑफिस पहुंचा, IT सेल ने देखा, अरे यार इसके तो बड़े फॉलोअर हैं. आपको पता है एक लड़का जो आता था, अरे कहाँ गए नरेंद्र, हाँ देवाशीष, अरे क्या बात, देवाशीष जो था वो बच्चा था और उसने अपना ट्विटर अकाउंट बनाया हुआ था, फेसबुक अकाउंट बनाया था. उसको विक्रमादित्य ने जा करके MP का इलेक्शन लड़ा दिया क्योंकि उसके ट्विटर पे फॉलोअर थे. और पता नहीं उसको 500 वोट मिले थे, 1000 वोट मिले थे MP के इलेक्शन के. तो ये जो एजेंसी है वो ऐसे ही करेंगी. लेकिन मेरा मानना ये है कि इसने जरूर चेंज किया. यू आर वेरी करेक्ट. द नेचर ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैज टोटली चेंज्ड, एंड दैट इज व्हाई आई एम सेइंग कि कार्यकर्ता होना नहीं है. आजकल तो कार्यकर्ता को, एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है, मैं गुजरात में गया था, 22,000 रुपया महीना दे रही है भाई अपने कार्यकर्ता को. 22,000 रुपया महीना. हमारे लिए कौन काम करेगा? अरे फाइनल क्या होता है, तो चलता रहने वाला है. नहीं तो अब बात बोल चुके हो तुम. क्लास में पूछोगे तुम. हाँ नहीं या
सर मेरा क्वेश्चन था एक, यूपी के पॉलिटिक्स में पिछले कुछ समय से देखा जा रहा है कि ब्राह्मण को बहुत मतलब ज़्यादा लग रहा है कि सब वो ब्राह्मण ही जिता सकता है. एक बात मैंने जो DSP के महासचिव मिश्रा, उनका एक इंटरव्यू सुना, उन्होंने उसमें बोला कि और पार्टियां झूठ बोल रही है, ब्राह्मणों का जो परसेंटेज है यूपी में वो 16% है, 12%, 8% नहीं. जबकि 31 की जनगणना के अनुसार जो मुझे याद है कि इंक्लूडिंग भूमियास 4 या 6% उनकी जनसंख्या थी, 6 साल 31 की जनगणना के अनुसार. तो ये जो नैरेटिव है वो सोशल जस्टिस के नैरेटिव को किस तरीके से, उनके पूरे आइडियोलॉजी को किस तरीके से भोथरा कर दिया है, और लोगों जो लोग हैं उनके अंदर एक अविश्वास पैदा किया है कि आप ब्राह्मण की बात एक तरफ कर रहे हैं, एक तरफ सोशल जस्टिस की भी बात कर रहे हैं, और आपके लिए ब्राह्मण वोट सबसे महत्वपूर्ण हो गया, जबकि जो अति पिछड़ी जातियों के वोट तो काफी महत्वपूर्ण थे. और BSP के जीतने में मुझे जो समझ कि एक बड़ा रोल था 2007 में अति पिछड़ी जातियों का. तो सर ये जो ब्राह्मण नैरेटिव खड़ा हुआ, इसमें कौन मतलब क्या कैसे कर?
देखिए मेरा मानना यह है कि ब्राह्मण नैरेटिव खड़ा उड़ा नहीं हुआ, ये तो मीडिया वाले ने बनाया क्योंकि उनके लोग ही मीडिया में रहते हैं. तो जैसे ही वो जीते 2007 में, उन्होंने कर दिया कि 51 जीते. मुझे याद है मैं NDTV पे उस समय बैठा हुआ था, तो पंकज पचौरी वो हुआ करते थे. पंकज पचौरी बार बार बोल रहे थे, हमने कहा 21 से ज़्यादा नहीं जीते, मुझे दिखाओ 51. तुम 51 बता रहे हो. तो अब वो बोलने लगे हाँ हम दिखाएंगे, लेकिन आज तक नहीं दिखाया. बाद में वो प्राइम मिनिस्टर के वो भी बन गए. मीडिया एडवाइज़र। लेकिन ये बात जिसे कहना चाहिए सही नहीं है कि एक पॉलिटिकल जो सोशल जस्टिस की ताकतें हैं वो ब्राह्मण नैरेटिव पे काम कर रही थी, क्योंकि ये मैं कह रहा हूँ आपको, ये नैरेटिव बनाया गया क्योंकि मैं जब इन लोगों से बात कर रहा था, ये वहाँ के जो सीनियर जर्नलिस्ट थे कुछ, क्योंकि पता है मैं भी पायनियर में कभी काम करता था, तो मेरे अभी भी वो साथी लोग हैं, तो मैंने कहा कि ये नैरेटिव कब से शुरू हुआ कि ये दो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी के बीच में लड़ाई है। बोलेगा 1 साल पहले से। और अगर सत्यहिंदी.com पे जाएंगे तो अमरीश को देखिएगा आप, अमरीश जी सोशलिस्ट हैं और उनके साथ जो भी बैठने वाला था सब सोशलिस्ट होते थे। तो वो सोशलिस्टों का पहले से 1 साल पहले से ये हो गया था कि देयर विल बी, एंड दिस नैरेटिव वाज सूटिंग। केशव मौर्य से बाकायदा जब वो किया गया इंटरव्यू तो केशव मौर्य ने बताया कि ये तो नैरेटिव हमको सूट करता है, और इसलिए वो मतलब क्योंकि उन्होंने कहा कि भाई क्यों सूट करता, बोले कि देखिए लॉ एंड ऑर्डर के मामले में हम मायावती से नहीं जीत पाएंगे, कम्युनल के मामले में भी नहीं जीत पाएंगे, वो इन्हीं से जीत सकते हैं, इसलिए हम इनको आगे लेकर के आ रहे हैं। और उन्होंने क्या किया? कुछ भी नहीं किया। तो इसलिए मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ये नैरेटिव है, जबकि आप रिप्रेजेंटेशन में देखेंगे यार 108 सीटें मुस्लिम समाज को दी जाती हैं, 122 सीटें बैकवर्ड क्लास को दी जाती हैं, तो उनके जिसकी जितनी संख्या बारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी के हिसाब से दी जा रही है ना सीट, उससे कहाँ ज़्यादा मिल रही। तो ये जरूर है कि बिकॉज भाई सब लोग केवल उन्हीं को देखते हैं, किसी और को जो बोलता है ऑल्टरनेटिव उसको नहीं मानते लोग। हमारे यहाँ कुछ प्रोफेसर हैं ना, वो फॉरेन कंट्री के लोगों को ला के भाषण करवा देते हैं अपने क्लास में। हाँ, तो उनको लोग बहुत बड़ा लीडर समझते हैं, बहुत बड़ा इंटेलेक्चुअल समझते हैं। ऐसे ही कुछ यहाँ पर भी लोग कि अगर ब्राह्मण को बैठा करके बुलवा देंगे तो पता चलेगा बहुत बड़ा पार्टी है, वो सही चल रही है। तो इसलिए मुझे नहीं लगता है कि ये बात सही है, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि उनकी औकात क्या है। यार तुम थे नहीं, तुमने सुना नहीं मेरी आवाज़, तुम क्वेश्चन पूछने आए हो यार। ना हम लोग बात करेंगे। मैं यार मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं यार, नहीं मुझे लगता है कि मुझे लगता है कि मेरा ये 29 नंबर कमरा बचा रहा है, काफ़ी अच्छा है।
सर जब हम पीआर का बात कर रहे हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं हमारा वोकैबुलरी उसी पीआर से डिसाइड हो रहा है। जैसे कि इसी टॉक में कि सोशल जस्टिस, एक अमित शाह इंटरव्यू दे रहे थे, वो बोल रहे थे कि सबसे अच्छा देखो हम सोशल जस्टिस कर रहे हैं, तो माननीय साहब बोले कि हमारा लड़ाई भाई सोशल जस्टिस का नहीं है, हमारा अल्टीमेट लड़ाई है वो सोशल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का लड़ाई। तो वो सोशल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन का लड़ाई, जैसे हम कंपैरिजन करते हैं बीएसपी, एसपी, आरएलडी या फिर सबको एक ही फ्रेम में रखने का जब हम कोशिश करते हैं, तो आई फाइंड देयर आर फाउंडेशनल डिफरेंस बिटवीन द पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ बीएसपी, एसपी एंड आरजेडी। There is no agenda of social transformation within RJD, you can say, SP, you can say. But the second question of mine is that how, when we are talking about media, right now I was listening some interviews on the Sudra, the big channel, and that person was saying that Chandrasekhar is also good, Mewani is also good, Mayawati is also good. Then don't you think that it is creating more problems?
ना मैंने कहा शूद्रा तो बहुत बड़ा कास्टिस्ट आदमी है। आपने आज तक कभी मुझे देखा कि उस पर कभी उसने बुलाया हो? आप मुझे बताइए भाई, मैं तो कितने दिनों से बोल रहा हूं, आज तक शूद्रा ने मुझे नहीं बुलाया। मैं तो उसको बहुत कास्टिस्ट मानता हूं, वो सबको बुलाता है लेकिन मुझे नहीं बुलाया उसने। क्यों नहीं बुलाया? तो ही इज ए कास्टिस्ट पर्सन, सो आई डोंट थिंक दैट एक्चुअली वी शुड बी डिस्कसिंग शूद्रा उद्रा यार। हैं? वो मैं वही तो बोल रहा हूं कि आज आप अगर कस के गाली बकेंगे, अगर कस के क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे तो आपको 2 लाख लाइक मिलेगा। अगर आप कंस्ट्रक्टिव क्रिटिसिज्म देंगे तो आपको 7,000 से ज़्यादा कोई नहीं देखेगा। मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूं, तो इसलिए अभी मैंने देखा जो बता रहे हो ना सोशल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन वाली बात, तो ये सोशल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन नहीं पहुंच पाया लोगों तक। I think you are correct that people have not been able to go inside that what is really the basis of social transformation. हमारे साथ अभी जैसे सोशल जस्टिस की आप बात करो ना, सोशल जस्टिस में एक खराबी यह है कि दुश्मन से जो लड़ेगा उसके लिए हम ताली बजा देंगे, हम खुद नहीं लड़ेंगे। लेकिन ग्रास रूट पे यह बात है, जिसका मुद्दा उसकी लड़ाई और जिसकी लड़ाई उसकी अगुवाई। जलेबी की रखवाली बिल्लियों से नहीं होगी। आप बताइए, पावर लेने की आप बात करें, अभी एक और आ गया दिल्ली के अंदर, वो दे रहा है ना आपको, बाबा तेरा मिशन अधूरा। और जब बात बेचने की आई कहां, राज्यसभा, तो बाबा मिशन खत्म हो गया, अधूरा ही रह गया। तो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू आर्ग्यू, हमें हाउ टू लुक दैट योर लीडरशिप, द लीडरशिप ऑफ द पॉलिटेरियन themselves emerge. Nobody will come from outside. तो आप अपने अंदर कैसे, जिसे कहना चाहिए, पैदा करेंगे अपनी स्ट्रेटजी, अपनी लैंग्वेज, अपनी जो कैडर, अपना भाषा, अपना स्लोगन कैसे पैदा करेंगे? आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट इज द चैलेंज। मैं अभी कहा आप सवालों का, आप लोग का अपना एक स्लोगन नहीं बना अभी तक। कौन सा है वो? कौन सा स्लोगन बता रहे थे आप लोग हैं? कौन सा स्लोगन था आप लोगों का? जय भीम, अंबेडकर। हाँ, तो इसको एक्चुअली कैसे पॉपुलराइज करोगे आप? ये जवान पर होना चाहिए ना सबकी, तभी तो ऑल्टरनेटिव एक डायलॉग शुरू होगा कि भाई किससे डायलॉग है। ये अभी नहीं पता चल पा रहा है। ओके, चलो यार।
On behalf of BAPSA, I would like to thank you sir for agreeing to deliver this special lecture titled Decoding the Changing Nature of Indian Politics. I also thank our audience for becoming part of this wonderful session. Thank you.
मुझे तो लग रहा था कि तुम लोग मुझे डिनर तक नहीं जाने दोगे। लोगों की सुनने की क्षमता कम हो गई नहीं आजकल, या बात नहीं, डिस्कशन और बात करने की क्षमता कम हो गई।
डिस्कशन में वही लोग आते हैं ना सर जो कि वोट पाए, सुनने का बहुत कम ही आता है। ये आप पूछ रहे हैं सर?
हाँ, नहीं